UMTV. Uncle Mario. Total Media.
Hey, Larry White.
What's going on, man?
How you doing, man?
Hanging in there, trying to make this happen, you know? It's good to be here.
Long time coming.
For sure.
Okay. Hey, tell us about yourself, Larry. You know, how you got into the music business, how you started, when you started.
Well, I started when I was 9 years old. I wanted to be a drummer, and that came true. Then I wanted to play guitar, and that came true. I practiced every day. I had a vision to learn how to write and produce at an early age. You know, I signed with, after high school, I signed with Harvey Fuqua as a songwriter, producer. And I got the training from him. He taught me all the ins and outs of chord progressions and how to maintain and be a leader of a band if I wanted to be one. Started all that, got that together, and worked my way through San Francisco and working all the hotels, Fairmonts, Sir Francis Drake.
You said San Francisco?
Yeah.
That's a good point. Wait, you know what? Let's back up for a second. Where you from?
San Francisco.
So you from Frisco?
Bay Area.
Okay.
Yeah, Bayview, Hunters Point. I grew up there and formed my first band in the 4th grade, Larry White in the high tones. I played for Mayor Alioto when he was mayor of San Francisco. Then I went out and did started playing out in San Francisco around the Golden Gate Park and stuff like that. UC Hospital, started playing at the Sir Francis Drake, Fairmont, Holiday Inns, the Hiltons, all the hotels for all the major proms and big balls and stuff like that, which they call that just really gigging. Today they call it corporate gig. So I was doing corporate before corporate was called corporate, so it was kind of like a new thing. Then I formed my band Grand Theft. We were one of the #1 hot bands in San Francisco Bay Area. We started working with Jay Payton. Then wind up doing a audition for the Whisperers as a guitar player. Got signed with them, got the gig, got signed to Solar Records with Dick Griffey and the rest of the crew, Leon Silvers, Dana Myers and all, Shalimar, Lakeside. And then we got over into, I formed another group to open up for the Whisperers when they were playing the Bay Area and stuff like that, Sacramento, and we was doing the Circle Star. We was doing, on tour with Patti LaBelle, Luther Vandross, Brothers Johnson, the Moments, which were the Ray Goodman and Brown, Spinners.
Wait, hold on a second. So how did you go from San Francisco, growing up, guitar drum player, to meeting the Whisperers?
The way I met the Whisperers, I was playing in my band Grand Theft at the time, and we did a thing with Jay Payton, and I played behind Scotty over at Vacaville prison. They had a thing. They was bringing entertainment over there, so they brought us all over there, a few other groups from Richmond and Oakland. And I played, I think we played that Bobby Caldwell song. What was, damn, I can't think of the name. But anyway, Scotty sung the song, and he never knew that I was the same person that was gonna be his guitar player for the Whisperers. So I wind up doing an audition. So they say, hey, the Whisperers need a guitar player. Went over there, did this audition in Walnut Creek. And then they asked me, say, well, you think you can learn these songs for the concert? They're gonna be going out on tour, a small tour. I said, yeah, I can learn it, So they gave me some songs to learn. They gave me like 4 or 5 songs. What I did, I wound up learning all the Whisper songs that they ever made in their whole entire life, through their beginning part of their career. So they didn't even know that I knew these songs, because my aunt was a Whisper fan. She would go see the Whisperers on Broadway in San Francisco, and she would play these songs when she was babysitting me. I just recently talked to her about that, and she said, wow. So I wind up learning the songs. I learned 2 or 3 or 4 of the songs. They said, well, can you learn these other 4 by Wednesday? So I'll be back, and I have them down. I already knew them, but I said, I'm gonna just brush up on them, and I came back. So it was all these other guitar players, maybe like 20 guitar players, they was out there, they was doing their thing, some great guitars. So I'm sitting in my car with my guitar in my hand just like this, and the garage door comes up like that, and I said, I'm not gonna get the gig. I said, I don't think I'm gonna get it. comes up again. There's another bad guitar player. I say, I'm really kind of like praying that I get it. I'm saying, okay. Door opens up. Here comes Nicholas Caldwell. Say, champ, you think you're gonna be able to handle it? I say, I don't know with all that coming out that garage. These guys is playing. He said, yeah, but we got to give everybody a fair chance. I said, what does that mean? He said, I'm gonna give everybody a fair chance, and after that, we'll see where we are. He said, but just keep on doing what you're doing. So, and then the garage door goes back down. My heart starts racing. Fast, boom, 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 boom. I'm saying, well, maybe I might not. I said, I'm gonna just stand up and take this like a champ. When the garage door opened, that very last time, seemed like my breathing and my heart rate started going faster and faster and faster and faster. He said, well, I think you got it. I said, what? Got what? He said, you got the job. He said, you think you're gonna be able to handle it? I said, yes. So I start screaming like a little cheerleader. I was like, ah!
So were you the lead guitar player for the Whisper or the backup?
Lead guitar.
Lead guitar.
That I got when they got ready to go for it, and then we had a full band rehearsal. Came back and we were working on a few things. They had the album. They had just started the Olivia album. I came in on that. Then came in from the time for Song for Donnie, and then from Lady. Enemy Goes On, Rocksteady. Say yes, Are You Going My Way? Don't Say No. Me and Grady wrote that song for the Whispers. We wrote Girl I Need You, and started playing then I started putting the arrangements for the live show. That was my thing for the high energy shit, all the intros, the middle section, the closing, everything that was going on with the high energy stuff for the Whispers. That was a job that I had, and Grady was more of the melodic person with the working with the vocals with Scotty and Walter and make sure that harmony was cool. And then we had certain members in the group that was in there that had been there before me, but I came in with a different energy, so it worked. It was different for them at first. Well, man, you got too much energy, man. You need to tone it down, man. Showboat, man. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna make it work. But then Scotty said, you know what? This is what we need, because you guys just standing there, and then we just uplifted the whole show. From arrangements to studio to staying in the studio, sleeping in the studio, working on the records till we got it right. And then took the stuff down to Dick Griffey in Baldwin Hills at the time. And we did that, and it was a beautiful thing because he knew exactly what he was looking for, because he had already had Shalimar in the lineup. He already had Lakeside, but the Whispers was like his mature group that he wanted to be. So we tried to make that as clean and polished as possible, because they had a foundation of a chemistry that they already had. So what me and Grady did was add just the other flavor. Then, Gino came in on the tour, and we had Percy Scott. We got Percy Scott in, got Dwayne Sweet in, Emilio Canessa, guitar player, Richard Aguan. They were part of my group, Collage. Okay. So that's how that all developed and built into an in-house situation.
Okay. So was this Whispers gig, was this your first major gig?
My first major gig.
Okay.
It was, we traveled the world. We traveled all over the country. At the time, they called it a Chitlin circuit. We had a small bus. We didn't have the buses that they have now. We had a bus. We had to sleep, put our legs over the little hump right there and lean up against the window and ride from Oakland. We'd take off from Doggy Diners on San Pablo.
Doggy Diners? Yeah. I heard that name in a long time.
And then we would work our way to,
okay.
We go from there, we go to L.A. And then we would ride all the way to Detroit. Mm-hmm. Whispers was huge in Detroit, and they still are. Yeah. We go to Detroit, and then we.
They from the Midwest, ain't they?
Yeah, they from L.A.
Oh, from L.A.
Yeah. Twins are from over in Compton, I think.
Okay.
But Nick and then had Gordy in the group and Marcus, all Bay Area. Once they got established the way they were getting established, they were based it out of the Bay Area.
Okay, I got you.
But and then they got signed with Solar Records, and then they were Los Angeles bound, and
Yeah.
So they were kind of like half and half. Nick stayed in Oakland, and then the twins stayed in L.A.
Okay.
Lavelle stayed in Orange County, so they mixed it up. But basically, the foundation of the whole thing was L.A. for them.
Out of LA. How long did this gig last, and when did it end for you?
It never ended. My relationship with the Whisperers is for life, so I contributed a lot to that whole thing. I brought Grady Wilkins in. Grady Wilkins was a childhood friend of mine from the 5th grade all the way into the end of his life. So I got Grady in, we started writing and stuff and producing stuff, and Dick Griffey gave us the opportunity. So we got on a lot of records, and we started getting gold records, platinum records. When we was making so much money, we wasn't even counting the money that we were making because it came down to tax time. We were like, I can't believe we made this much money and we making this kind of money, but what are we doing with it? We just having fun. You know, we're young, just making a lot of money. So, and then we started receiving, we started understanding what the publishing and the writing as a writer. And then Griffey signed us to a publishing deal and a songwriting deal as a staff writer. So we learned exactly what he expected from us to come with hit records instead of demos, which I don't never use that word demos. I would use it, I mean, that's just something to study. You know, like I was explaining to you, I would come in and do some work, pre-production work on my own instead of going into the time, wasting everybody's time totally. He taught us that, so we figured out how to cut records. And all of a sudden, after that point, we started doing these major shows in Madison Square Garden, Carnegie Hall, Radio Music City. We started doing all these big shows and stuff like that. We was tied in with Don Cornelius. That was Dick Griffey's partner, so he was putting us on big things, a lot of major big things. So we learned the business, and it turned out to be really successful. So then we started getting these gold records, platinum records, going to the award shows, going to the Grammys, going to the Soul Train Awards. It wasn't, BET wasn't out at that time. It was more MTV, VH1. What was the other guy? Donnie Simpson, that kind of, those shows. And then we would do things, a lot of big interviews and stuff like that with Frankie Crockett in New York. So a lot of stuff was based on that, and then working with Al Heyman, that introduced us to more things that was pertaining to the record. So that polished, we had to be polished basically to even get on that stage and be there, to be out there with the Commodores, work opening up for a lot of the majors, just a lot.
Okay.
People, Bryson, then Babyface came along. He was part of the company, so I started working with that team of writers and producers, Babyface, L.A. Reid, when they were the deal, Lakeside. Who else? Shalimar. I played on.
So the Whisper is considered like a big band, a group, right?
Singing group.
Singing group.
Singing group.
Singing group band.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's mainly a singing group, but they had an orchestra behind them a lot of times.
Yeah.
Strings
Like a
and
big band.
Yeah. So they had more things behind it. And the records that was out before wasn't as big as the Rocksteadies and The Beast Goes On and It's a Love Thing, but they was already established already, so it was already a set Whispers. The Whispers already had a name locally, but all over the country in the places that they were already working. If
The Whisper is considered like a two-man group, or the whole thing was a group?
the five singers. Five singers.
That was considered the Whisper.
The Whispers. No, without a band. The Whispers. If the Whispers didn't have a band, just the Whispers.
So the Whisper wasn't just the brothers.
Scotty, Walter, Lavelle, Nick, and Lavelle.
Okay, that's five.
Yeah, five. But Lavelle took Gordy's place. Gordy was there first, and he got injured. And then Lavelle took his place.
And
Whispers band, which we changed the name because the arrangements that we were doing was beginning to be super powerful. We wanted to call it the Whispers Orchestra. So the Whispers agreed to that. They, ladies and gentlemen, the Whispers Orchestra, the mighty Whisper band, and all that. So it just.
Now, did you ever work with any solo acts?
Yes, I worked with. We worked with Phyllis Hyman. We did. What's my guy out of Chicago? we did a song called Classy Lady. I can't think of his name again, but he was really one of the cats. He was like one of the R. Kelly cats that was working on a lot of artists and stuff like that. Then we did, who else we work with? Shit, man. Did this, Carrie Lucas, she was Dick Griffey's wife. We would back her up, perform for her, do her thing, you know.
Okay.
We did a lot of the, just a lot of studio sessions and stuff like that. We would come in, and if they needed songs, we would write songs for them and produce them. And Whispers were more and more executive producers. They wasn't in there writing and stuff like that, but they set us up to do. They get the deal, and then we would put the music and stuff and work the artists. So it was a time where we were working with Phyllis Hyman, and something was going on. The Whispers asked us, "Hey," and we asked Nick. We said, "I don't think this person's voice is fits for the Phyllis Hyman thing." She said, "Well," he said, "Well, we hired you as producer, so you guys handle it." And left me and Grady standing there. I was like, "What do you mean?" He said, "We paying you to produce. We paying you to make that decision. Because if we didn't think you were qualified, we wouldn't have gave you that position." So that taught us the discipline of dealing with an artist, not making that phone call, well, we need to do this. No, he said, you handle that, get the record, make the record happen. So once we developed that, it was like smooth sailing for us. It was a confirmation of becoming a serious producer, songwriter. So through all the training of learning the instruments through my childhood and as a teenager, you know, playing live and recording, and then I got signed with David Rubinson, which David Rubinson managed Northern Michael Walden, affiliated with Santana, because David Rubinson and Bill Graham were close friends. So I got signed with David Rubinson. He saw that I had some potential to be a songwriter, producer, so he had the studio, the Automat. He said, well, you could take this room, take B, and develop your, you know. So I had a place to develop my creativity.
Yeah. I see you got a platinum plat on the wall, Bobby Brown. Tell us about that.
Well, the plaque on that is...
Can I get a picture of that? Plaque on the wall? Okay.
That plaque on that wall right there, that was the second stage of me working with Bobby Brown. I was Bobby Brown's musical director. He asked me to write him a song, which I wrote the song. Bobby didn't know anything about the song that I had presented for New Edition. When I presented the song to New Edition, I told Ralph, would you please take this to MC8 for you guys, a song for you guys. It'll be a hit, I know it's gonna be a hit. He took the song, they were playing in Concord at the Concord Pavilion. He took the song, he did not throw it away or nothing. He took it straight to the company. We get a manager gets called from the company and goes, well, hey, I got this artist. I want to put this song on. He said, Bobby Brown. I said, I don't know who that is. He said, New Edition, doing that song, Mr. Telephone Man. I said, but I wrote the song for New Edition, for Ralph to sing. He goes, no, but Bobby's going solo. So I said, okay, is he going solo? He said, trust me, Loside said, trust me on this, it's gonna work out fine. Do you want to do the song on Bobby? I said, okay, if you think it's gonna work, I'm gonna go for it. We wound up getting a #1 R&B chart buster on it. So it could have, I think we sold like 300-some-thousand. But I'm hearing now at this point, the the units that were sold at that time. But I think they wanted Bobby wanted to go into some fast stuff first, but we went against the grain and to show, he's more than what you guys think. He's a bad boy, but he's got a smooth heart too. He's cool, he understands, love. And he was looking for a girlfriend at that time. He was, so I was an artist, a producer that believed in what he was doing, and it came to life. So the second album, this album here, they did Prerogative. Teddy Riley did Prerogative, and him and Bobby, they wrote that together. Terry Lewis, but Babyface and L.A. Reid, did the Don't Be Cruel, Ronnie, Rock With You. I did All Day and All Night and Take It Slow, which I was staying in my lane with trying to keep Bobby on that love thing, So we were doing it, and it was turning out really nice, but he still had that energy to do the Prerogative and the other stuff. But me and Bobby said, we're gonna sell 5 million records, and we're gonna buy some Corvettes. We started rehearsing. We had 30 days to get the show together. So I was a musical director. We had a small band, so we wound up doing what we had to do. But Bobby did not want to go all the way after some of the circumstances with New Edition being on the same show, and then what they were going through personally with each other. Bobby didn't want to do the tour. I said, we got to do it now because I gave my job up with the Whispers. That's a done deal. He said, oh man, but I really don't want. I said, man, please, man, let's do it because I know we will score, we will get over. I said, we're going to sell some records, man. We practiced for 30 days. We looked at the calendar, we was counting them down, marking them off. We got out to, our first show going to be in Kentucky. I said, Kentucky? I think we went to Oxnard first. We took off in Oxnard just do a dry run just to test it out because Bobby had already done the stuff on the King of Stage album. So we went that way and then worked our way to Kentucky. So we got to Kentucky. It was an empty Coliseum. Nobody was in there. Nobody knew about these songs, that album. Nobody knew anything. The promotion was going, but nobody really heard the records yet. So we got out there, opened up, did our show there, and everything started coming to life. We started seeing a picture. We got our stage built. We had our own stage, personal stage, $1 million stage. We had our own lighting. We had a light crew. We had tour buses. I had my own bus with the band. Bobby had his bus. The crew had their bus. It was top of the line. It wasn't, Bobby had a vision of what he wanted to do. That was on point. Although people always, well, Bobby, Bobby's a smart businessman. I knew Bobby when Bobby was trying to figure out what he was trying to do. And I trusted him and I believed him and I learned a lot from him from this day on. What he taught me, he didn't sit with me one-on-one teaching me it, but I seen how he was running certain things. I said, this is the right way to do this shit. So it was nice. And dealing with his mom, Carol, his mom was kind of like the drive for Bobby. Carol was the one that can keep Bobby together no matter whatever's going on in the world. Bobby would look to his mom and he'll melt down. It's like, okay, this is the boss, really. I'm running this, but she's the manager. That's my mom, but she made it more, I'm your mom, but this is business. And as I started seeing that with his career, even when he first met Whitney, I was there. He wanted me to be the best man in the wedding. I wasn't ready to do that. But we did the American Music Awards. That's where he met Whitney. Deanne wanted to say, I want you to meet my niece. So Bobby went over to meet her, and that's how that happened. So it was a good thing, but a lot of things was coming within the documentary he's talking now. I've been studying it. So a lot of things that's going on in his life, it's a turnaround, but I see the change, and I'm glad he's made that change because he's a better person from the heart, from the mind, and he could see his path a little bit better, a lot clearer. So, because a lot of things he was going through was kind of like affecting me too, because we're so close, just like you and Gino, you get used to that person, you tight like that, and then you see the separation a little bit, but you keep all the ideas and the great concepts, because the concept that you guys created is a beast. It just needs a cool team, and I'm glad to be a part of the team that Uncle Mario got, so it's a beautiful thing for me. So I see the same thing that I've seen with them Bobbies, with the Whispers, with Dick Griffin and Solar Records. I see the same thing here. I was there in the beginning of the Confunctions thing. I seen when they started doing that thing in Vallejo and Tennessee Street, Felton gave me my first break to help me get my first song on the Whispers, the Imagination album. I got the title cut. Felton helped me do that. So he's a good dude, man. He's straight up.
Good man.
So that's how I became to get connected so into the record part of it. and understanding the awards and how you get that, you know, once you on that Billboard chart, you move it. Because you got some places that you're going to fluctuate. You're going to go up and down because everybody can't be number one at the same time. I'd rather be in the top 40 or top 10, and we can do whatever, you know. But just respect, and don't disrespect the other person, the person that's number one. They're going to be number one, but you can't stay there. You just got to come with something else, and then somebody else is going to come in right after. So you work your way and try to get that, make your record the best record you can make, and have the best artists that you think you have on your team, songwriters, producers, engineers, and artists and the engineers and the rest of the people on the team got to respect the CEO of the company. Hey, this is what we're going for. We got to make this shit happen.
Okay. So tell us, so what is Larry White working on today?
I'm working with Uncle Mario.
Okay.
And I like it.
Okay.
Cardo! And young Mario, that's my boy, so I believe we got, I'll say it like this, it's a diamond in the rough. So once we break it and crack it and shine it up, public, the world, the universe, you are in for a treat.
Okay. Well, we're looking forward to it, man. We're looking forward to some new Larry White stuff coming out in 2022, 2023. You know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it, man.
It's good talking to you, man. We're gonna take a break and come back and show the people some of your genius sessions.
Right on, man. I appreciate it.